Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Woman's Cave. Oh, good. The disembodied voice decided to let the person on camera win. Woo, child, I look like a pale version of myself. I look like a pale version of myself with two miniature black eyes. Let's call them gray eyes.
Gray eyes?
Yeah,
okay.
it was like someone tapped me on the eye.
Anyway.
They didn't punch me. They tapped me.
They tapped you on the eye. I can't even take it. I'm jaded.
I
Disembodied voice.
I have no lipstick on. I think that's what it is.
You're Winona.
I am Winona. I said I'm Winona. I said that. I was like, I'm Winona. But I've now said it 4 times. So my inner narcissist feels so relaxed. I feel like I just got out of massage therapy class.
It just got out of massage therapy class?
Yes.
Like, so it went to class.
It went to class
to learn how to do massage therapy.
No.
To be a practice person?
To be someone that they practice on. So like I'm saying, like 6 to 8 students got to practice on massaging my shoulders. Yeah. I am relaxed. That's what the narcissist feels like.
If we wrote literary life guys with pop poetry, I can't.
Yeah, we write books.
Right, literary life guys with pop poetry.
So this end, I thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir and verse, Widow's Web, Widow's Debt, and Foreign Coffee. That is 6 books if you do sign language.
And you can get them where you get your audiobooks.
This is what happens when you have a disembodied voice. You open your mouth up and the voice over there says something else. So at this point, I'm feeling like I am the dummy on the hand. You know what I'm saying?
I can't do it. I can't.
Moving on.
You mean you feel like...
No, I'm not even going to let you take that opening. Anyway, so
we're
moving on.
Oh, that's exciting.
And the disembodied voice is saying nothing. Strike it from the record.
You can find out everything the ladies are doing on www.andithoughtladies.com. But y'all aren't here to hear about us.
You're here to hear about our wonderful guests. Wonderful guests.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, everybody. I am Sue Campbell, and I'm a book marketing and mindset coach and co-founder of Pages and Platforms, where I work with 2 brilliant developmental editors who help you write the best story possible, and then I help you get it out into the world.
Okay.
Oh, I love it.
So my first question to you is, how did you come up with this idea?
Well, I am a writer first and foremost. And when I started writing my first novel, I was doing all nonfiction stuff for a long time. And then when I started writing my first novel, I was also freelance writing on the side. So I was a copywriter and writing for magazines as well. And I realized that I needed to market this book, and I didn't know anything about how to do that. And then I realized that it was exactly what I was doing in my freelance copywriting. So instead of writing about banks and spectroscopy companies, I could actually use these same content marketing principles for books. So I was able to restructure my career in a way that is all about books all the time. So I feel very, very lucky and like I invented the perfect job for myself. And I also realized that writers have to think holistically these days. We can't just be like, I'm going to write a book and I'm going to pass it off to my publishing company and they're going to market it and it's going to sell millions of copies. It does not work that way anymore, except for a few unicorns. And I had these 2 brilliant editors that I knew, and we were all in our writing critique group together. And I said, hey, we need to put this together so that people understand they got to write the pages and they got to have the platform. They have to think holistically about this whole picture, and we can give it to them in one package to help them do that.
That's amazing. Now, I want to ask a bit about marketing here. Yeah. So when you were writing your book and you thought marketing, did your brain immediately switch to business? And how much research was it to get into the marketing side of things?
Well, I was following, because I was trying to improve my writing craft at the time, I was following a podcast called the Story Grid Podcast with Sean Coyne and Tim Grahl. And Tim was the guinea pig, right? He was the writer and Sean was the editor. And I realized he had been taking like a year off of work to work on this novel and work with Sean. I'm like, okay, well, what does he do for a job that he's able to take a year off? And I found out he was actually a book marketer. And so I got on his email list and started learning about book marketing that way. And at one point he said, hey, I'm going to train a cadre of book marketers in the technique and the method that I use. If you want in, let me know. and I jumped on it. It was one of those lightning bolt moments when you just feel it in your body that this is something that you're supposed to do. Right. I had that moment and I'm like, okay, I'm signing up. I don't care what it is. I don't care where it is. I don't care how much money it is. I'm going to do it. So the book marketing, it was like me thinking about how all of this was going to work and how I was going to get the book out into the world. And then stuff just started lining up to get me the information that I needed when I needed it. Right. As often happens.
Exactly. I'm going to ask the question that you probably hear all the time, but I'm going to say keep it general, because I know this is what you do as a profession, but what are 3 tips, or at least 3 things that an author should start to think about while they're writing their book?
This is a great question. And thank you for saying while they're writing their book, right? Because you do not want to wait to think about your marketing once your book is all done and you're ready to publish. So thank you for phrasing it that way, because there's a lot that you can do while you're still writing your book. So let me just walk you through, like at a high level, the book launch strategy that you need to have in place, right? Because there's a lot of tactics. You can read articles and, oh, you should be on TikTok, or you should be on Twitter, or you should be doing this, or you should be doing that. But you need to have an underlying strategy to know what tactics are actually going to work for you. So I want to give that to you really quick. Number 1, you need to start with a definition of book marketing that makes you feel good about what you're doing. The word marketing is sometimes problematic. Everyone brings like their own definition of the worst marketing they've ever experienced, right? What you are trying to do is build long-lasting relationships, connections with readers. And readers are some of the most amazing people on the planet. That's all you're trying to do. So you don't need to reinvent your audience every single time you write a book. You want to keep that relationship going. So that's the definition that you start with. The number 1 tool that you should use to do that, and the first thing you should think about doing, is starting an email list. So an email list of subscribers who you can reach anytime you want. Mark Zuckerberg can't take it away from you. The algorithm can't change to like pull the rug out from under you. Your number 1 asset is your book marketing list, or is your email subscriber list. Okay. That's your number 1 book marketing tool. The second thing is you need to put content out into the world. So content is like a grocery store sample, right? It's like you go to Costco and you get to try the blue corn tortilla chip before you put it in your cart. You have to put enough stuff into the world so people can get a taste of what your writing is like, and if they want to learn more about you, and if they want to read more and buy your book. Then the next piece, which is where the absolute magic happens, if you only do an email list and content just on your own little website, you're waiting for people to stumble into your digital spider web, and it's going to take a really long time, right? You're going to be a very hungry spider. So the third piece where the magic happens is doing outreach. So that means knowing who your ideal reader is and going out into the world and figuring out who has already built an audience full of those people. And then you get in front of that audience. So you are getting on podcasts, right? Just like I'm doing today. You are writing guest articles. You're going to conferences and conventions, all based on your ideal reader and where is that person. That is where the magic happens. And then you invite them back to your email list, right? So you get in front of your ideal reader, you invite them back to your email list, and you keep delivering them content and then reminding them that you have books to buy, just as you did so beautifully at the top of the podcast, right? Constantly making offers and reminding people that that's there, but also delivering value. That's not the only thing that you talk about. You're not always pushing people to buy the book. You're delivering value in all kinds of ways. And I have these books.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. I feel like I should just end the podcast right there. But no, okay. So this is like the plug time. Just tell us what Pages and Platform does and why we should be interested.
Sure. So the best way to get into Pages and Platforms right now is to join what we call the Happily Ever Author Club. And this is a monthly membership club that has everything you need to get your mind right? Because mindset is huge. If you're going to be an author, you're going to face a lot of rejection, a lot of obstacles, a lot of challenges, and you need to get your mind clear enough so that you can handle those without giving up. So that's a major thing that we focus on. We give you all kinds of tools to tell a better story and work on your story structure. One of the biggest things is we have a story path course inside, which will help you identify what your story type. for finishing your book. I'm going to turn off my video for just a second because I'm getting an unstable message with my internet. Sorry about that. And then we also have marketing resources, right? Because we're all about pages and platforms. How do we look at this holistically? So we've got this wealth of resources, which you can work through at your own pace. And we have weekly calls with my two brilliant developmental editing colleagues, Anne Holly and Rachelle Ramirez. And we have weekly calls with me as well. So anytime you're hitting a roadblock in your story, in your marketing, you have us at your fingertips, either through the community forum or through the weekly call, so you can keep on plowing through.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going to do just a regular plain old interview for you. I think it's because it's 6 o'clock, y'all, and I'm starting to fall asleep.
No worries, no problem.
So, where can people find out more? Oh no, what are the titles of your books?
So I have the Pages and Platforms Book Marketing Workbook, which is only available through our website. That's probably most relevant for your audience. I have a middle grade adventure book called a book that is from my copywriting days and a client who I still love and I'm still working with, called the Parental Leave Playbook. And it's about how to navigate your parental leave. So I'm a hybrid author. I'm both traditionally published and independently published. And then my colleague Anne has a book called Restraint, which is a beautiful historical fiction novel. And Rachelle is actually working on a book for ADHD writers right now, which we're very excited about and will be out later this year.
I thought of one more question.
Sure.
I thought of a question I should have asked well before I asked what does Pages and Platform do. How do you know as an author if you're going to need this assistance?
If you don't already know exactly what you're doing, you're going to need assistance, right? In one way or another, you're going to need support making sure that your story is in the best shape it can possibly be. Or if you only have a very vague idea of what needs to happen for marketing, or you think you need to build a huge social knowledge, you see us, because we're going to get you on the right path and make sure that you're actually investing in the areas that are going to pay off for you.
Okay. So can you tell everyone where they can find out more information about you, about Pages and Platform, and possibly pick up those books that I hear about?
Yeah, absolutely. pagesandplatforms.com, and then you can find more information on the club. I recommend you subscribe to the news because you're going to get a wealth of free writing resources when you subscribe. So you'll get a guide to, you'll get information on developing your idea, a free webinar. There's all kinds of free resources when you join the newsletter. So go to pagesandplatforms.com and then follow the prompts to join the newsletter.
Thank you so much for being here today with us, Ms. Campbell. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up. Jade is now gone. The disembodied voice is now gone. I am not on the loop anymore. But you know, it's at the end of the show, so I'm a professional at the end. Sorry, y'all. You can find out everything that your ladies are doing at www.andithoughladies.com. And while you're there, go down to the middle of the page, not the bottom, but the middle of the page. And you will see the charities that we proudly support. We ask that you give them a little help during these difficult times as well. We thank you in advance for doing so. Remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Winona and Jade. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.